Graeme, welcome to the studio. Very excited to chat to you about your backstory, bikes, aspirations for the year. Let's start off with your name, and if you wouldn't mind giving us a bit of a backstory, how you got into cycling and anything else you feel is relevant.
Cool, my name's Graeme Smith, not that one. Get that out of the way. I'm 38 years old. I'm married, I have 2 kids, and I work as a software developer at a large financial institution. I started riding in 2021. I'm the stereotypical COVID cyclist. Ostensibly because my son was starting to ride and I thought, I'll get a bike and I can go ride the green belts with him. Most people who get a bike know that once you do that, the bug bites and you go, I can ride 30Ks, I can ride 50Ks, I can ride 100Ks. And I was doing this all on a steel gravel bike, which was fun until you start getting a bit competitive, and then you go, I could go a bit faster if I had a nicer bike. And then I bought a second-hand Specialized Diverge, which is nice because I like riding gravel, but I like riding road at the same time, so you could kind of go quite fast on both of those on that bike. Eventually upgraded to a set of carbon wheels, so 1 bike, 2 wheels. Figured that was all that I needed in life. And then I started to see the Elves stuff pop up. I didn't know Dave at the time. I just started seeing Elves more and more. I kind of knew Keegan, saw what he was doing on Instagram. And I think, I'm not trying to promote the brand here, but I just really liked what Dave was doing. I saw someone who was trying to build something in South Africa that I could be involved in. I think that was very cool. And yeah, there was an intention to build a community around the brand, which I think was something that I wanted to be involved in. I reached out to Dave on Instagram, which wasn't something that comes naturally to me. I'm not an influencer, I'm not someone with millions of followers, but I was like, shoot my shot, see what I can do. And immediately Dave responded and he's like, cool, come and let's chat. Within 2 weeks of meeting him, I had a test bike to ride, and I think the first day I remember sending Dave a voice note on the bike being like, there's a problem, this bike doesn't want to go slowly. And it was legitimate. You get on the bike and you go, and you can't go zone 1 on that bike. It doesn't work. It only wants to go fast. And at that time I was on a DC team. We were training for DC. I remember taking the bike on a training ride, and we did 130 Ks around over to Toitskloof, around and over Baines, and going up Baines. The road captain turns to me as I came past her up the hill, and she's like, I don't like you on this bike because you're going too fast. And it legitimately, I remember taking a photo at the top of Baines and like, this bike is a cheat code. It's so fast, it was so much fun. And then from there it was, okay, let's choose the color for the bike, because the decision was made, I was getting one. And with Elves, I mean, just go to the website and you can spend hours just choosing your colors. And I remember that was my son's favorite activity for about a month, was just specking out bike colors on that website. And chose the color, couldn't wait, so got air freight, got the bike delivered. I think within 3 weeks of putting in the order, I had the pictures from Dave of the bike's been painted, here it is. And then 2 weeks after that, it arrived, got it built up by Jamie Hatton, and then it was all systems go. I think it's been non-stop since there, just really enjoying it. Got DC done, and now looking forward to 2025.
Awesome, Graeme. It has been a lekker journey, and it's great to have you part of the squad. 2025, I think it would be, I don't know if you know that your year in sports Strava stats off the top of your head, but I did see you share it on your story. It was a pretty monumental year for you. I mean, I think like monstrous gains. Like any stats you can remember off the top of your head, year on year?
Yeah, so 2024, just about 15,500 kilometers on the bike, which for some people's a lot, for some people's not. For me, it was a lot. I think it was more than 50% more than the previous year. I think I went into 2024 quite intentionally, got a coach for the first time, coached by Ben Capistagno from Science to Sport. and just really focusing on trying to take cycling quite seriously, well, as seriously as you can take it when you are not an elite and you're not a pro, and your goals are quite different, but your goals are just to try and get the best as you can out of yourself while juggling being a husband, a father, and working full time. But I think having done that, and after a lot of early mornings last year to get in that 5 to 7 a.m. training window to get back before the kids wake up, really happy with how the year ended, and I think mostly really happy with a big base built for this year. I think if I look back at what I was doing in January 2024 to what I'm doing now, I think I feel like I've just got a really strong foundation, so looking forward to seeing what I can do this year.
On the topic of things you can do, I know off the top of my head some of your aspirations, Cape Town Cycle Tour being one of them. Do you want to maybe rattle off a couple of your key races for the year and maybe some of the milestones associated with them?
Yeah, so last year Cycle Tour 3 hours and 2 minutes, so the goal shouldn't be a surprise. Sub 3, it's got to happen. And again, I think January last year the goal was 3:10, and then realized after 3 months of pretty solid training that 3 was definitely on the cards. So I think now with 12 months of solid training, sub 3 kind of has to happen, barring a disaster. So I think that's very much the goal for this year. So obviously the usual, all the non-elites will know, get the seeding races done so you can get a good seeding for Cycle Tour, because if you don't start in a good seeding block, sub 3 gets very hard. Post that, I'm doing Transbaviance with 2 good friends. I will be the guy on the gravel bike riding with 2 guys on a mountain bike, so that will be interesting. Hopefully get hold of that Elves gravel frame, put some slightly thicker tires on that, maybe some suspension, we'll see. Might do some weird hodgepodge there, but looking forward to being solidly underbiked at that race, but a good 240k, mostly downhill race. And then end the year with DC. Very loose goals at this stage, still seeing what teams get formed, but tentatively, I mean, we're not elite, so again, 520 would be good. 520 men's team would be a nice goal at this stage, just spitballing.
Yeah, that's a solid ride. And in terms of your cycle group, for anyone that's new to cycling or maybe new to Cape Town, there's a new Varley or Eastern Caper almost every day. As a Pride import, I'm allowed to crack those jokes. Where do you go to ride? I mean, you talk about a 5 to 7 shift in the morning before the kids wake up. What's your local?
Depends on the workout. So if it's metabolic, which is generally like a good 20 minutes at threshold or just below threshold, I tend to head towards Big Bay, towards Melkbos, just because it's flat. So you're not dealing with the rollers, you're never freewheeling. You can just lock in the power and go. There's a nice bike path that hopefully no one's sleeping on at 5 in the morning in the middle of winter that you almost run over. True story. If it's hills, then it depends on the hill. 4 minutes, I tend to do up to Rhodes Mem. I think I'm the local legend on that climb by about a factor of 3. My Strava for the year last year told me I did that climb up to the president's house about 150 times. 10 minutes Constantia Neck or Okop, depending how early I need to get back for the kids.
Are there any particular group rides you're known to go and join?
Apart from my weekly coffee ride with my dad and my sister and my friend and his dad, no. It just tends to be a lot of solo training during the week, just trying to get the rides done. Saturday cobble together with whatever Pinelands WhatsApp group rides are happening. Try and get the 4 or 5 hours in on a Saturday morning.
Awesome. And one of the last questions, you had a big leap last year in terms of the volume of cycling that you did. Working with a coach naturally gives you an edge you just can't otherwise get in terms of structuring your workouts. From a nutrition point of view, I mean, we've heard now quite regularly that a lot of the gains people are making and just better understanding that. Personally, have you experienced any groundbreaking things last year that you maybe weren't aware of? Volume of fuel, type of fuel, when to fuel, that kind of stuff? Anything to share there?
Yeah, I think something I always struggled with was kind of taste fatigue. So I come from a trail running background before I did cycling, and I always struggled to eat enough to run long trails. I wanted to run ultras and I just couldn't. My stomach bouncing around meant I couldn't get the fuel in. I'd end the run feeling nauseous and just hating life in general. Coming to cycling, I found I could eat and drink a lot more on the bike, which helped. You can go further. I mean, it's no surprise, more carbs, more food, you can go further, you can expend more energy. I tried a bunch of different drink mixes. I eventually landed on Cadence. I quite like it. I find you can still drink it when it gets warm, which in summer in Cape Town is kind of inevitable that your drink is going to get warmer than you'd like, and that stuff still tastes alright, and it works well in winter as well. So I've settled on that. I find I can pack 3 scoops of that into a bottle, and that sorts me out for a good couple of hours. So that's worked well for me in the last year.
Cool. And then finally, any hot takes for the year? Tour de France being the one I'm going to ask absolutely everyone that sits in that chair, and any other races that are of interest to you.
Okay, Tour de France. Head says Poggy. Heart says Jonas. I like him as an underdog. I also like Ben O'Connor. I know he's a bit of a polarizing character. Some people, after watching the Unchained documentary, feel he's a bit of a prima donna. He gets a bit emotional. I quite like him. I think he got a bad rap there. And also, again, rooting for the underdog. I'm keen to see how he does on the new team this year. So ideally, Jonas first, Poggy second, O'Connor third.
Do you think Teddy will be on that new aero bike of his?
I think he'll have to be. I mean, why bring out a bike if you're not going to put him on it for at least the flat stages?
Fair enough. Any other hot takes? Any other races you're watching? Any other predictions?
I think it'll be. I listen to Geraint Thomas, his podcast a lot. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does in his last year. I think he's going to the tour. I think he's going to want to end on a high, but I don't know if any of us have the team to kind of support him there. So it'll be interesting to see what he does this year and his last year.
Awesome. Graeme, that's it from us over here. Thank you very much. It's good to have you in studio, and look forward to seeing you in there again. Good luck with that sub 3. I'd say 250 is the minimum you should accept.
Exactly.
If you've got a 302 with 3 months of training. We'll see you out there. Thanks, Graeme.
Thank you.